Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very, very much for being a part of this reading that we're doing on a Shabbat. Today is a Shabbat. It is a day of rest. It is a day that the creator of the universe has given to all of us as a gift. It is a gift of our lives. It is a gift of his creation, and it is something that the Shabbat was a sign of those who are willing to be in obedience and in covenant with our Creator. And a lot of folks, they begin by keeping Shabbat, and then they begin to understand that the words that are found in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy are the words for all times and for all generations, for all peoples, for all nations, for all families. It is inside of these words that have not been done away with. These words have not been nailed to a cross. These words have not gone and disappeared from us for all generations. They have been given to us, and we have been told to obey them, to walk in them, to immerse our life in them. And so when we are doing this, then we are what you would call an in-covenant people. An out-of-covenant people is a people who reject the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. They reject His ways, and they also reject the Son. Now, you're not going to be able to have the Son without the Father. You can't take the words of Messiah Yahushua, and his name isn't Jesus the Christ. His name is Yahushua. There were no J's in Hebrew, so I'm calling him by his Hebrew name, Yahushua. He came and he told us that these laws are very, very important. He says, if you love me, keep my commands. And the Christians will jump immediately on that and go, well, there's only 2 commandments. And that is what happens when you don't read scriptures and you don't read it in context and you don't actually remember what it says. Because what it says, Messiah says, it's the greatest of the 2 commandments. And one of the greatest is to love our Creator with all our heart, mind, and soul. And we will be going over that here in just a second. But the second is to love our neighbor as ourselves. And Messiah says that the entire Torah hinges on those 2 commands. And people get very, very confused and think that, oh, we only have 2 commandments. Well, if that is the case, which you could say that's the case, but if one of the commandments is to love your Creator with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, then by default, when you don't obey them, you have rejected them. And so you would not be an in-covenant person. The book of Matthew clearly says that people who are lawless are sent to hell. And so we are the family here that believes that all of these laws, statutes, and commandments are for all of us, for all times, and we will always sit around this little table and explain the joy and the love and the amazing direction that we have been given from the Creator of the universe to all of us. Cade, will you please open us in prayer?
President Father, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for blessing us, and I thank you for being gracious to us and giving us another Shabbat that we can follow your Torah, follow your commands, and that we can be united as a family, finding your scriptures and your ways and what you have set out for us to find in your Torah and your prophets. And I ask that we find that you put the Ruach on our eyes, that we find your greatness and what you want us to see, what you want us to find, and the understanding that we need to understand. I thank you for all in His name. Amen.
All right. Jade, let's go over here.
Right. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words that I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Now, this particular set of verse, if we look at what the Christian doctrine tells us, is that there are no laws. They will take the words of Rabbi Shaul, who is a man, and they will say that Rabbi Shaul says the laws are no more, and we've been freed from the laws, and we can eat whatever we want to eat. All food has been made clean. We can do what we want to do. Now, when you say that, and you read Deuteronomy 6, it isn't like that, because if you are taking the words of our Creator, which we're supposed to be holding into our heart, that everything that we're talking about, like our entire life, is supposed to be around Deuteronomy 6. We're supposed to love our Creator with all our heart. We're supposed to love Him with all our being. We're supposed to love Him with all our might. And if you put the laws of our Creator on the cross and you say they don't apply to you anymore, then you are not loving Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart. You are not loving Him with all your being, and you are not loving Him with all your might. Because if somebody says something who you're supposed to love with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and you disregard their words when there was never an expiration date, there was never a single statement in the scriptures that says when Jesus the Christ comes, when Messiah Yahushua comes, that all of a sudden the laws, statutes, and commandments that have been put before us for blessings, and they've also been put before us as curses, they don't mean anything to us anymore. right? We can do what we want to do, how we want to do it, and we can eat what we want to eat because our Creator is so merciful that He loves a group of disobedient children. And those disobedient children are waiting upon the big yellow school bus called the rapture. And that big yellow school bus is going to whisk everybody off to the clouds in the heavens, and nobody has to do anything because our Creator loves disobedient children. Now, for those of you who actually think what I was saying was true, I was just making a mockery of what religion tells us to do, because it is very important that we do what our Creator wants us to do, how He wants us to do it, when He wants us to do it, and that's what obedience is about. And if we don't want to be obedient, then we are simply being rebels. We're being rebellious rebels. Now, what we're going to go over, that we go over every single Shabbat, which is the highlight of my Shabbat, because what we were just told in Deuteronomy is that we need to write these laws on our heart, on our mind, on our soul. And unless we are putting these to muscle memory, unless we are reciting these and going over them, then we are not equipping all of you guys out there with the understanding of the Torah that we have found. And this is what it is that we have found, and put these lists together so that all of us have a clear definition, because up until this time, before Boss Clan was out here, all we had was the Jewish 613 laws that they say they have, and we don't have 613 laws. We got 180 some laws that we can do as Yah's people today in the world that we are into. We don't have Levitical priests. We do not need Levitical priests. We do not need the same kind of structure they had back in the day, because we have a priest. We have a priest who came and did it. His name is Yahushua, and he is not only our priest and not only our sacrifice, but he is also the king of the kingdom to come. He's going to be the one that we are under. He is our leader, and it's good to get into covenant with his dad and with him now, because the kingdom to come is going to be a Kodesh kingdom. We're going to be out there, and I believe after the Messiah calls us over there, I believe people will still be falling from the kingdom to come, because it talks about in the book of the Nazarene, in the book, that they were making a statement about John the Immerser, about John the Baptist, about how great of a guy he was, and Messiah Yahushua very clearly says that in the kingdom to come, everybody needs to exceed what John the Immerser's disposition was. Like, we need to be far better than he was, and he was a great, great guy. So all of us have a long road to get to where our Creator and his Son want us to be in terms of this. And so here we are. Ms. Nicole, can you please give us a shout out to everybody you see in the chat?
All right, so we have Jeremy and Kellen, Bonecat 1, Days Rainy, Irma, Sylvia, Andy and Elizabeth, Rosie Chica, Lisa and Bear, Candy, Ruby, the Grandma, Katrina, Quentin, and Claudia. I'm scrolling here, Sister Barb, Stella, Obi Lions, Chris, Honeymoon Stitch, which is Brian, and I'm still scrolling. Oh, we have a new one, Beautiful One, and then Scott Freeman as well.
Hi, guys. Very, very, very good to see you guys all out of here. Appreciate it. If you guys hear the tapping on our roof, we live out in the middle of a jungle, and our roofs are just a piece of tin that separates us from the Shamayim, from the sky. And so as you hear the popping sound, that is simply the adjustment of the tin on the roof as the sun hits it. And so it makes these weird sounds. And so unfortunately, we have to have that because we don't have like a normal roof like everybody has, like in their house, where it's just kind of a ceiling. We don't have such a thing. And so it's a little loud. So our apologies right out of the gate for that. Now, here we are. Let us go over these laws, statutes, and commandments, the most amazing, the most interesting, the most viable things for all of our lives. And let's go through them. If anyone out there in the chat, you guys have a question, they don't make sense, you guys want us to go over the commandment, this is the section, this is the segment that we do this. And so we've often had a lot of great discussions over these, and we are always happy to break open scriptures and to start reading and to hang with you guys on this. And so let us begin. One command out there, and this is one of these kinds that, you know, a lot of times people will fall into a depression in life, and it's really easy to become depressed. It's really easy to fall into the hands of really Hasatan when it comes to having our mind corrupted with depression to where we can't get out of it. And what I always talk to people about is the very first commandment that we ever had is be fruitful. And, you know, I think about that a lot of times when I've gotten depressed, and you know, you'll have a tendency just to want to sit around, to not really do anything, because it feels better just to become like a rock in a state of depression and funk and things like that. And so when we are talking about the very first thing our Creator ever told us all to do was to be fruitful and to go out and produce fruit that is worthy of what the kingdom is. And so, number one, be fruitful.
Number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
The master's sin. Every clean living thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
And guys, for all the new folks that are always here, I like to touch on this because you will not find another command that is like this. Guys, this is like pages long for the single commandment that is reiterated to us over and over and over. It's told over 53 times right here, guys, that we are told to guard the covenants, laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, when we say the laws are on the cross, or that Messiah came so that we could eat unclean food, then we are not guarding Yahuwah's covenant laws. That's the very first thing we're doing. We're breaking every reiteration of this commandment right here, because all food has not been made clean. The Sabbath day is still the Sabbath day. We have a certain way that we're supposed to walk and to smell and to taste and to look that is contrary to the rest of the world. And if we have this reiteration of over 53 times that we are told to guard the laws, statutes, and commandments, we don't have any other commandment like this, right? There's nothing in scriptures that is reiterated as much as this. And so it is something that when we are sitting naked before our Creator on Judgment Day, our Creator says, look, I've told you guys over 53 times in this book that I want you to guard them. You didn't guard them. You put them on the cross. You put them on the tree. You let my son die for no reason at all, because you just became a sinful creature, thinking all sin and all evil, you can just pray it away. And it doesn't work like that according to scriptures. Okay, continuing on. Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach them the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, the festival of Matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Okay, and a lot of times, let's talk about this right here, guys. You have 41,000 religions, right? If you have 41,000 plus different religions out there, the scriptures clearly says there's one set of instructions for all of us. It doesn't matter if you're coming from a Buddhist background, that you don't have any kind of understanding about anything. When it comes to the scriptures of our Creator, there's one set of standards that we all have. If you mix into like a Christian religion or a Baptist or Mormon, every one of these are going contrary to what our Creator wants us to do. So if we want to get in covenant with our Creator, we have to understand that there's only one set of doctrine for us. It doesn't matter where we came from, what we understand. It is that when we want to walk with our Creator, it's not a mystery. There's no mystery to it, right? It's the same laws through all the scriptures. Nothing ever changes. Our Creator did not change when Messiah came and decided, you know what? You guys kept the laws for the first thousands of years. Have at it. Enjoy your lawless life. That's not what Scripture says at all. Okay, continuing on. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name. Do not.
You guys, go continue on reading.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from a rock that tool has touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
A man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossips.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the seventh year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cure your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the measure Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with our Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make useless anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make useless perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
And keep the David atonement Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not laugh at a woman her uncleanness.
Do not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh, holy.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle in wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not be a sorcerer.
Do not round your beard at the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the marriage of the nations.
Keep the feast of first fruit, Shavuot, on recount, the Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of coat, Shabbat Threat.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The law of being a Nazir.
Wear zizis on the four corners of your garments.
The law of whoever touches the corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
Keep the law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the Torah laws upon your hand and the front between your eyes.
Write the laws upon your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Plead to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
All right, hold on. So, Mr. Cole, throw the Yahoo and the Torah website up there on that. This is for a beautiful one. Yeah, we have this on a list. And this same list that we're reading, if anybody out there has an Android device, we're about to release this, I would say, probably in under 10 days. This application, this has been at work for almost a year right now. And so this will all be available out there for absolutely free of charge. In the meantime, you can definitely go to yahuandthetorah.net website. These all came from that website. That's our website that we compiled these several years ago on that. So
I do have it as a PDF too.
do you have a
Anybody
PDF?
wants it, yeah.
Is it on there?
No, it's not on there, but I emailed it to Elizabeth and Andy once, so
Okay.
I actually made one.
Okay, so yeah, so we do have PDF. So I guess if you want, maybe throw your email or some way they can contact in my email. Yeah, if you guys want it, we'll send you out the PDF. We'll also link it on our website one of these very first days soon. All right. Anyone know where we're at by chance?
Yeah.
I think it's do not do what's right in your own eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, do not do what is right in your own eyes. Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give you a stranger clean food that dies itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give a tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The law of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from a poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken to the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
The prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
Do not deal with a false witness among Torah. How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is to get double portions.
If your brother's child is clothed lost and you find them, then you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, or a man where it pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies and not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that it'll be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
Law of divorce.
Do not take a virgin millstone for a pledge.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the law of divorce real quick because we've had a couple different talks that we've had recently on this whole thing. The law of divorce is an interesting thing, and it is one of these things that is it's kind of hard to figure out because it's in Yah's world, in his ways. Marriage is a very, very important thing. And as we get into the words of our Messiah, when we're talking about marriage, the Torah gives us an exact way forward as far as it goes. And some of the rules of divorce is that if you give your spouse a letter of divorcement, and it's usually it's the male that has that power and it has the ability, but it's as simple as literally writing up a letter of divorcement when it comes to Torah. But then we get into the words of our Messiah Yahushua, and we get a lot more clarity when it comes down to this, and a lot more understanding, and it's something that people take for granted. And as I was talking to a couple the other day, here's the thing about the way our Creator is set up and the way that goes. If you are outside of a marriage, as you are two separate people, and you end up in bed together, technically, by the hands of Yah, you would kind of be married. If that wasn't the case, you would both be taken outside the city gates and killed. So we ran into a conversation about the law of rape, and it was actually last week, and people don't understand how good our Creator's laws are, because one of the situations is that according to Hebrew law, according to the laws of Moshe, if you rape a woman, you must take that woman and never ever divorce her. And a lot of people are like, wow, that is a crazy law. It all comes down to the way our Creator wants us to operate, and the way our Creator wants us to be in covenant with Him. Now, we're not supposed to be out carousing. We're not supposed to be out being one of these guys that is a man whore or woman whore or anything of the sort. And so all of these things in the eyes of our Creator, and this couple that ended up doing the do, I advised them that they were to never ever seek anyone else, because they weren't married. Neither of them were married. Neither of them were committing adultery. Well, they were all committing adultery, because they were all. If you are coming out of a marriage or a relationship and you are end up in bed with another person, you are committing adultery. You're making that other person commit adultery. And so there's a lot of undisclosed little things that complete the marriage that we don't understand. And when you take the book of Nazarene, you actually learn even further about about marriage, and about how strong it's supposed to be, about what we're supposed to be doing in the marriage, and about how strong we are supposed to be. And I truly believe that a proper, good marriage is the strength of an entire village, right? You can raise up an entire village with the strength of the people inside of the marriage. And so there is a law of divorce, and there's also the laws of all of these other things prior to ever being married. And so this is why we need to understand what the Torah of our Creator is all about, how we're supposed to treat our family, how we're supposed to treat our wives, how we're supposed to treat our husbands. All of these things can be found in Scriptures, and can be found, and it is a guide for all of us in all of this stuff. So I don't know where I was going with that, but let's continue on.
All right. Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset, if that was his pledge. And let me touch on that real quick, because this is one of these things right here. This is the love of our Creator. These last two commandments, one was do not take a person's millstone for pledge. And then if you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get payment, right? This is how our Creator wants poor people taken care of, right? He doesn't want you to go take the way a person makes their food, right? If somebody owes you money and you go and you take this millstone, they no longer have a way to grind up their grain and produce for their own selves, right? That's how good of a heart of our Creator He has, right? One of the things you don't take away is a way that a person has to live. Another thing is, if you lend to your brother, don't go into his house to get the payment, right? Say the guy owes you for months and months and months, and you're one of those guys that goes right in his house and starts taking stuff off his wall because that was what you think is owed to you. It's not like that, right? This needs to be one of these things that you have to have respect for people in all things. And we're supposed to very much take care of the poor, very much take care of all of them. And our Creator doesn't want people crying out in the middle of the night because they're cold, because you've taken the last bit of garment. He doesn't want the people crying out in the middle of the night because they're hungry, because they no longer have the ability to grind their corn. This is how good of a Creator we have, that He has thought through all of these things right here. And if only we were obedient in all of this and everyone around us lived these laws, statutes, and commandments, this would be an amazing place in our life. Continuing on.
Hold on. Beautiful one had a question.
All right, beautiful one. What do we got?
Is there any state of divorce that gives any ground for marriage according to Torah?
What do you? Okay, so
I'm confused by
read that again one time.
Is there any state of divorce that gives any ground for marriage according to Torah?
Here is the thing about when you are out of marriage. If your husband, say for instance, you both have a certificate of divorce, when you guys go into somebody else, you are still an adulterer. You will still make the other person an adulteress or an adulterer as well. There is ground. I mean, there's the law of divorce, and what you're going to get stuck with is you're just going to get stuck with a charge of adultery. And I don't know any other way out of that unless you become celibate and you become like a like independent for the rest of your life. Men must initiate proceedings adultery. Yeah, and I don't know if I answered that or not, but.
And then, I don't know, but then Sister Barb, back to the adultery thing. She says,
Yep.
He, the male doing the deed, has defiled the soil or the land or woman, example,
Yeah.
marked territory, so it's considered his, and he must take care of that land, and
Yeah.
then she'll be rejected if he leaves.
Yeah, and that is the crazy thing about even going back to that the law of rape. People don't get it, but here let's talk about quickly about why this is. In Hebrew culture, what happens? Let's say, for instance, a woman was raped, right, and the man did not take her as his spouse. She becomes defiled according to Hebrew law, according to Yah's law, right? She is not. She's not okay for a man just to go with her. And so what happens is she's rejected and sent back to her parents' house. When her parents die, if she doesn't have a letter of divorcement, she doesn't have anything. The letter of divorcement is very, very important in Hebrew law, because if you do not have a letter of divorcement, then you are not legal to actually go and marry anyone else. No man in the Hebrew culture is going to go marry you. If you're an adulteress and you don't have a letter of divorcement, then you become an adulterer. And according to law, you should be taken outside the city gates, both you and and you should be killed if you're caught in adultery, things of this nature. So it is it's very, very important. All right, let's continue on to this. Let's see. All right, let's continue on, fellas.
Do not oppress the hard servant, poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Katrina says, I'm talking about Talmud rules, and I don't think that's true. Katrina, sorry, sis, that's not Talmud rules or anything of the sort. So let's continue on. I'm not going to argue with her today. Let's roll.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to forgotten sheep in the field, leave for the stranger, fatherless and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when you treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the feet of Sukkot, at the feet of Tabernacles.
All right, so here we are.
We are in...
And just so anyone knows, I have no Talmud commands. I don't read the Talmud. We are not part of Judaism. We preach against that. We teach against that. We tell people they should not be doing that, because if you bring stuff from the Talmud, you're breaking Deuteronomy. You're breaking Deuteronomy 4:2. Do not add to, do not take away from the Torah. So it's been something very, very important that we stick to Scriptures and only to Scriptures, and toss everything else out as it should be. Okay.
Sister Barb says Mashiach stated in Matthew that adultery was the only reason it was allowed.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah. And when it gets into adultery, it's over. And that's, we had this. I guess that's funny, because we had this argument last week, and I can't even remember what the exact argument was, but it was that if you are in adultery, if you have committed adultery on your spouse, you should not go back to them. The marriage is over. That's the way it is. If you have been that person that committed adultery, according to the laws of our Creator, it's over. If you go back into if you go into a defiled man or woman, then you get the mark of adulterer as well. There's no way around it. I've never found anything in scriptures that has that. So, and yeah, Katrina, she's going to fight for the adulterated women, the women that have like somehow, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that, but that is what scripture says. Let us continue. Yeah, the marriage is defiled. You can't go back into that, right? There's nowhere in scriptures ever that if you are an adulterated woman or you have cheated on your husband, the marriage is over in the eyes of Yah, right? It's no longer a sanctified marriage. It is no longer anything that you guys can have hope and dreams in, because you are going to live with that curse forever. And not only is it a curse in the eyes of our Creator, but it's also a curse in the eyes of your marriage, right? There's no marriage where people are able to be cheated on that it can come back to a perfect normal order. It just doesn't work. And I know we all live in a Babylonian world where everybody's sleeping with everybody, and that's just the way it is. But according to the word of our Creator, we need to be Kodesh in all our things. We need to be loyal to our spouses. We need to give them every bit of hopes and dreams. If you have married them, then don't be a cheater, right? Just don't be a cheater. It will never be good in the kingdom to come. Okay, let's continue on. Here we go. I need somebody to give me a little bit about Leviticus. What do we have right now?
So Leviticus, we start from Leviticus, we start building the temple, we start putting it together, and we start getting into these sacrifices, what the priest should be doing, how the sacrifice should go, and the order of sacrifices and the procedures of all of it. And that's what we're getting here, and we are going into like what sacrifice should be, what do you do when you do this sin or another sin like that, what are you supposed to give if you're poor, what are you supposed to give if you're rich, what are you supposed to give if you're even poorer than poor. And that's what we're getting to today.
Yeah. Okay. And I know. Let's talk about. Let's very quickly talk about this real quick.
Sister Barb, you compare apples to oranges.
There we go. Yeah. So that's the whole thing, guys. When we're talking about the prophets, we're talking about the book of Hosea. We're talking about all the prophets prior to Yisrael going into captivity. When our Creator said He was going to divorce them, He divorced them. They did not come back until Messiah died. That was the husband. That was who died, that they were able to come back to our Creator. Our Creator did not divorce them and take them back. Both the northern tribe and the southern tribe both went into captivity. The southern tribe came back. The northern 10 tribes never came back. And so here we are with this. They were not, the Creator of the universe did not he didn't remarry His people until Messiah came and became that bridegroom for all of us, which is why we need to be that perfect bride. We need to be the bride acceptable to our Creator in all things. And that's not going to be those who are, adulterers and all these other things, right? If you look at scriptures, when the people that don't make it, it talks clearly about those who are in these kind of things. And so we need to be pure, we need to be holy, we need to be Kodesh. And if you cheat on your husband or wife, be a man or be a woman and don't go back into them and curse them with that same sin. It's over. You have done the due. You have defiled your marriage bed. You have defiled your covenant with your husband or wife. Don't take them to hell with you. Don't bring them into this kind of sin. Walk away from it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I have to say. Okay. Anyone else have anything on Leviticus before we get going?
I don't think so.
All right, here we go. Leviticus 6, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, when any being sins and committed a trespass against Yahuwah and has lied to his neighbor about a deposit or about a pledge or about a robbery or shall extort from his neighbor or has found what was lost and has lied concerning it or sworn falsely, so that he sins in regard to any of these that a man does, then it shall be when he sins and shall be guilty that he shall return what he took by robbery, or what he has extorted, or the deposit which was deposited with him, or the lost item which he found, or all about which he swore falsely, he shall repay its total value. Add 1/5 more to it, and give it to whom it belongs on the day of his guilt offering. Okay, so what are we talking about, gentlemen, right here?
Basically someone steals, or basically someone finds something and they don't give it back. This is what happens to those people.
Yeah, and so this is what our Creator has done to give us the exact how to deal with issues that arise, right? Sometimes a neighbor may take a deposit, somebody takes a pledge, so there's robbery. There's all sorts of things right here, but our Creator has told us exactly what we need to do and how we need to do it. All right, where am I on, guys?
You're on. I believe you're on 6.
Okay. Then he brings his guilt offering to Yahuwah, a ram, a perfect one from the flock, with your valuation as a guilt offering to the Kohanim. And the Kohanim shall make atonement for him before Yahuwah, and he shall be forgiven for whatever he did that made him guilty. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the Torah of the burnt offering. This is the burnt offering because it is burned on the altar all night until morning, and the fire of the altar is kept burning on it. And the Kohanim shall put on his linen garment, and put his linen trousers on his body, and shall take up the ashes of the burnt offering, which the fire has consumed on the altar, and shall put them beside the altar. And he shall take off his garments, and put on other garments, and shall bring the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the altar is kept burning on it. It is not put out. And the Kohanim shall burn wood on it every morning, and arrange the burnt offering on it, and shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. Fire is continually kept burning on the altar. It is not put out. And this is the Torah of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall bring it near before Yahuwah in front of the altar, and shall take it with his hand from the fine flour of the grain offering, and from its oil, and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the altar for a sweet fragrance as its remembrance portion to Yahuwah. 16. Anything going on? Are we good? Yeah. All right. 16. Then Aaron and his sons eat the rest of it. It is eaten with unleavened bread in the Kodesh place. They eat of it in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. It is not baked with leaven. I have given it to them as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is Kodesh, like the sin offering and the guilt offering. All right. So what do you guys make of this? I mean, this is the what you're seeing here is you're seeing the life of the Levites. You're seeing how the Levites are actually taking care of what they're doing, how they get paid, right? And how are they getting payment, everyone?
By food and ingredients and everything like that.
Yeah, so we have a world today where you will see the stuff on TV, like the TBN, I think it's the Trinity Broadcasting Network or something of this sort. And you will not watch an hour of that without some point in that you can donate to some tithing, right? You can take 10%. And unfortunately, the Christians are, in fact, all religion is caught up on this 10%, that somehow they've been programmed that they have to give 10% of everything they make to a church that is functioning on the wrong day by a guy who is not a Torah keeper, who does not obey the law, statutes, and commandments. And any preacher that is preaching in a 501c3 church on a Sunday, he should be removed from office, right? Well, I mean, actually, they're probably doing the work of Satan. So they're actually leading Satan's temples on the wrong day. So I guess they're doing exactly what they should be doing. But you should never be in this. You should never be watching these guys. They are not people you would want to learn from. And I had this other guy send me this thing. He's like, hey, you know, Jason, I've been watching this Christian video, and man, I watched this for years. This guy was so good. Do you want to see what he says? And I'm like, you know, if this guy doesn't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, I wouldn't even turn him on. What good would it be to have some guy that doesn't understand scriptures trying to explain how to have salvation? It's not what the scriptures say at all. Okay, let's continue on.
Hold on. Beautiful one has a question.
All right.
It says, verse 11, what's the difference between the two types of garments? Are these two types of holy and most holy garments?
Okay, what do we got? And he shall take off his garments and put on the other garments, and shall bring the ashes outside.
Okay, so like he takes off his regular clothes like he walked in with, and he puts on like his linen trousers and his turban and all that.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen, take off his garments, put on the clean garment. Is he exiting? He's getting rid of all the ash out of this. Is that what we're doing on this right here?
I think so.
And take up the ashes. Yeah. So at this point, I think he's changing out of his better garments, I think, and putting on something because he's about to deal with a whole bunch of ashes and a whole bunch of stuff. I think. I don't know for 100% sure. But we do know that the priests have a totally set. They have all sorts of different garments, real fancy stuff. You know, and it's more than likely if you're going to be the guy that's going to be pulling out this ash, you're going to get everything kind of dirty. Is my thoughts. But again, I don't know on this one. Okay, where are we at? Anyone else?
On 15, I believe. 14 or 15. Is it
60?
14?
Anyone?
I think we're on 17. I think.
All right, let's do this. Let's see what we got. Let's go 14. And this is the Torah of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall bring it near before Yahuwah in front of the altar, and shall take it from his hand, from the fine flour of the grain offering, and from its oil and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the altar for a sweet fragrance, as its remembrance portion to Yahuwah. Then Aaron and his sons eat the rest of it. It is eaten with unleavened bread in the Kodesh place. They eat it in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. It is not baked with leaven. I have given it to them as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most Kodesh, like the sin offering and the guilt offering. All the males among the children of Aaron eat it, a law forever in your generations concerning the offerings made by fire to Yahuwah. All that touches them is to be Kodesh. And again, this is the way that our Creator is feeding all of his people, the people that are ministering before him on behalf of the people of Yisrael. They all had food, right? They all had lodging. They all had what they were supposed to be getting. They're supposed to be getting hides of cows and things that would make their lives much easier. And that's what our Creator does to his people. 19. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, this is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they bring near to Yahuwah, beginning on the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a daily grain offering. Half of it in the morning and half of it at night. It is made on a griddle with oil. Bring it in mixed. Bring the baked portions of the grain offering near, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. And the anointed Kohen from his sons, who is in his place, prepares it, a law forever to Yahuwah. All of it has to be burned, and every grain offering for the Kohen is completely burned. It is not eaten. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the offering is slaughtered before Yahuwah. It is most Kodesh. The Kohen who is making atonement eats it in the Kodesh place. It is 25, where the burnt offering, the sin, 25. Sorry, guys, the chat took me to school. 25 again. I'm reading from a different version here, different screen. Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the sin offering is slaughtered before Yahuwah. It is most Kodesh. The Kohen who is making atonement eats it. In the Kodesh place, it is eaten, in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. All that touches its flesh is to be Kodesh. And when its blood is sprinkled on any garment, you wash that on which it was sprinkled in a Kodesh place. But the earthen vessel in which it is cooked is to be broken. And if it is cooked in a bronze pot, then it is scoured and rinsed in water. Every male among the Kohen eats it. It is most Kodesh. And no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tent of appointment to make atonement in the Kodesh place is eaten. It is burned with fire. All right, so guys, that takes us out of Leviticus, and now we are going to hop into Matthew. If anyone has any other questions or anything on Leviticus, let us know. We'll do the very best that we can on answering some of these things. A lot of these things we only have little bits and pieces of, and if we actually knew how the entire ceremony, I think it's an amazing thing. The entire thing is amazing. All right, try to get with the chat here, but I don't know if I want to today. Okay, here we are, Matthew 6. Somebody give me a breakdown, Jaden, of what happened to this. Matthew 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Where are we at with Messiah?
We had the birth of Yeshua. We had the people that wanted to kill the children because they were afraid of the Messiah and the King of Judah. So his father brought him to Egypt. He brought him out of there, became a Nazarene. He went and got baptized by John the Baptist. He's now teaching and giving great teachings to the people. And we are in his adult life now, where he is writing his disciples and teaching the people and performing miracles.
Yep. Okay. So here we are, guys. Matthew 6. Beware of doing your kind deeds before men in order to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in the Shamayim. These are hard things to understand, right? This is where we get into the definition and understanding more of the Torah. We understand what the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator is because we hear it in the words of His Son. And these are amazing because, guys, in a kingdom to come, we want to be led by somebody like our Messiah, right? We don't want to be led by somebody like Hasatan. We don't want to be led by anyone uncredited, right? The only one with the credentials to ever be our Melchizedek priest, to ever be our king, is Yahushua, There was nobody ever before who could do it, and he was the one that did it. And so these are the words that as we go through Matthew, we need to take all of these to heart because this is the truth. 2, thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the congregations and in the streets to be praised by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your kind deed shall be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. Okay, let's talk about this right here. Why doesn't our Messiah say that we should let our right hand know what our left hand is doing? And what is the secrecy of doing the good? Why don't we want other people to know the good that we are doing?
Because then we get praised by man and not Yahuwah.
So it starts off by like left hand, right hand. Like the first question is, don't be double-minded, right? If you're gonna do a good deed, do it and don't overthink it, don't rethink it. Just do the good deed and bless that person's life or bless whatever you need to do.
Yeah, and if you're looking for rewards in all of this, you're certainly not there to take care of the person. You're looking to see who's seeing you so that you can take credit for this. And at the end of the day, if you have 5 cents that you're able to have in your pocket, then it is a blessing by our Creator. We need to deliver and to help those who are able to be helped, and we don't want to do it so that everyone sees it. That's not the point. The entire point is that we will do kindness to those without any kind of pat on the back, without anyone ever saying any of this stuff.
Like Sister Barb says, you do it for Yah and his honor, not your honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do it for that. Let's continue on. Sorry, guys. Hold up.
No.
Dogs are going to go wild for a second. Hopefully not. All right. Where are we at? 7? Oh, it is 6, right? 6. But you, when you go to pray, go into your room, and having shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. Okay? One big thing, right? We have an entire set of religion who prays to Jesus. I used to as a Christian. That's what we are told to, that's who in the Christian religion we are told to pray to, right? And this goes against what the words of our Messiah said. Never once did our Messiah said, go into your door and pray to Yahushua. It doesn't say that. It's always praying to our Father. Now, why do we want to shut the door and why do we want to pray in a secret place?
Because it's like one-on-one time with you and Yah. It's not like you and everyone else. It's like a personal time, personal growing with Yah.
Yeah, and it's one of these things that if you're sitting there like the, Messiah talks about it a lot, the Pharisees that are out there on the corners with their huge long tzitzits that are down to their ankles with the wrong colors. And they're praying for the respect of others around you. And this is a prayer, when you're praying, this is your heart being opened to your Creator. This is a direct line of communication. This is a blessing that we have been given, that we don't have to do a collect call. We don't have to pay for telephone bills. We don't have to pray for anything other than we can get on our knees and we can talk to our Creator and He will listen to us. And that prayer is one of these things that is moves mountains, right? It is one of these things that we can do, and it is a gift to us. Pray both Father and Yahushua. Yeah, you wouldn't want to, Ruby. You wouldn't. It's not disrespectful. It's unbiblical. You wouldn't want to pray to Yahushua. You wouldn't want to pray to the Ruach HaKodesh. We've seen Torah channels. There's like Lex from what's that guy's? Unlearned with Lex or something of the sort. He goes in there and he says, tell everybody. He says he prays to Messiah. He says he prays to the Ruach HaKodesh. You want to end your prayers in the name of Yahushua, right? That is what we are told to end our prayers with. Prayers are asked in the name of Yahushua. But you would not want to pray to our Messiah. There is no biblical structure anywhere that ever says this, and we shouldn't go against what Scriptures says. So, all right, so continuing on. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the Gentiles, for they think that they shall be heard for their many words. Okay, that's a very important topic we should talk about, right? When we're talking about praying, it's one of those things that our Creator is a very smart individual. I don't even know if there's a level of smart that He is. he doesn't, he's articulate. He knows you're sitting there. Father, please make me better. 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 Over and over and over, right? Scripture says that our Creator knows what we need before we even say it. So when we're sitting here gnawing on him in a repeating way, and that's exactly what the Gentiles do, and they will go on over and over and over, and Messiah says it's babbling, right? And so if we're just going over and over and over, we need to be structured in our conversation with our Creator. We need to be structured just like we're having a conversation with a person that's like right next to us, because he is next to us. And that is the power of the prayer, is that we have a direct line of communication to our Creator. And that's a very, very important thing. Okay, 8. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Okay, that's just what I was saying, right? Our Creator knows what we need. He knows if we're hungry. He knows if we're thirsty. He knows if we're broke. He knows if the bill collectors are coming to take our house away. He knows all sorts of stuff. Very much false teaching. This is very much false teaching, demonic. Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Is she talking about saying that they were praying to the other
Yeah,
things, or what is she saying?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, pities agree. Okay, 9. This then is the way you should pray. Okay, this is from the words of our Messiah, right? If we want an example, if we're supposed to be following a Messiah, this is what he says. Our Father, who is in the Shamayim, let your name be Kodesh, which is holy. Let your reign come. Let your desire be done on earth as it is in the Shamayim. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one, because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. Amen. So now we have from our Messiah how it is that we should pray. So if we are praying to Jesus, if we are praying to the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, then we are going against what our Messiah has advised us to do. So this is, it's how to pray. If you want to know how to pray, we just figured it out. Okay, 14. Let's see. For if you forgive men their trespasses, did I do 13? Mm-hmm. Okay. For if you forgive men their trespasses, and I just went over there. 14 is where I'm at, guys. Yeah. For if you forgive men, I've done it again. I'm in a stupid loop myself. Okay. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your Father in the Shamayim shall also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither shall your Father forgive your trespasses. Okay, this is something we should absolutely discuss, because a lot of us walk around with a lot of people that have done us a lot of wrong, that a lot of people have trespassed, a lot of people have said things that break our hearts, that break our spirit, that break our souls, right? But it is very clear that we will be judged as we are judging people. If we don't forgive, then it will not be forgiven to us. And this is one of these things that is very, very hard. How do you forgive those who have crushed your heart? How do you forgive those who crushed what you believe of your marriage, right? How do we continue on in this thing? And we can only do it by the words of our Messiah. We can only do it by the understanding that our Messiah is teaching the Torah to a perfection of forgiveness, of so much forgiveness that we should not step before our Creator when we are living with anger, when we are living with problems, right? And Messiah says it too. If you want to, don't come before the Father without forgiving your brother first. Forgive them and then come before the Creator of the universe. This is how our Creator wants us to work and to operate. I'm missing all the chat, so I don't know if anything's happening here.
Katrina just says, how do we forgive those people we condemn to hell because they cheated? So she's just saying, I don't know exactly.
I don't know who we've condemned to hell for cheating. I don't think cheating is a hell-bound offense, right? I mean, I don't know of anything other than what Scripture says is as blasphemy against the Ruach HaKodesh is a finalized thing. And it is tough to forgive those who crushed us, right? It's a lifetime, right? It takes a very, very long time. The heart is a very it's one of those things that can really, really, truly affect all of us in a lot of different ways. And it's hard. It is hard to forgive those. And that's why, when we have our Messiah, it's going to be a different world that we're living in under him if we make this kingdom to come. So let's continue on. Here we go. And when you fast, do not be sad-faced like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so that they appear to be fasting to men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. Huge things, right? We've talked about this before, right? Because when we have days of fast, it's easy to look sullen, look sad. Everybody's hungry, right? There's not a lot of smiles because everybody's like sad. But that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do this as tough soldiers, right? We're supposed to do this in tough for our Creator who sees this, right? He sees our hunger. That fasting is one of these amazing things that we can do along with prayer that will gather and glean the attention of our Creator and make things move. And so this is the guidepost to understanding how we can have communication with our Creator. How can we get things done properly? And these are golden verses. These are golden chapters in this thing. So let's continue on. 19. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in the Shamayim, where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. Okay? Let's talk about this, guys. We all live in a Babylonian world, right? Coming out of North America, I will tell you that we were the best of the Babylonians, right? We had all sorts of goodies and treasures and junk and trash, and we got a big container, and we moved all our stuff down to the third world country. And it's been like a decade down here. Most of the trash that I brought down, I've had to haul off to the landfill. I had no need for any of it in a different environment where I'm at. But I was there, I got to get my stuff. I got to ship my stuff off. I worked all my life for this stuff. And at the end of the day, it's just stuff. And literally, moths and rust have destroyed it all. And so here we are, living verses of, mistakes that we have made. Continuing on. Yeah, purging Papa B. It's all, I'm still, even this week and last week, I've been hauling stuff off to the dump that I have been holding on to and hoarding because I have violated this, and I laid up stuff for treasures on earth. And we're all on the way out, right? The only thing that we can take with us is our soul, which is why one of our Torah commandments is that we need to protect our soul. And we're not protecting our soul when we're doing things like laying up treasures for ourselves on earth. I've been through this before. I've done this where I was going to survive till the end of time, and it doesn't say in scriptures that we should do all this stuff and concern ourselves with surviving till the end of time when our Creator knows when we're hungry. He knows when birds are hungry. He provides for all his animals. He provides for all of this. He will absolutely provide for us, and this is where we need to have faith. Okay, continuing on. 21. For where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also. And is there anything? We can talk about the rich man, right? A rich man, and you don't get rich by being nice. You don't get rich by taking care of other people. It's just not what happens. And the book of Nazarene very clearly talks about the dangers of riches and things of this nature. What do you got, Mystical?
So Beautiful One says, how do you protect and guard your soul against such things?
Well, the best way to guard our souls is by learning the Torah. When we understand the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, when we run into issues where our souls are in danger, then we have scriptures. And that is the whole point. That's why in Deuteronomy 6, it says that we need to write all the laws. It needs to be on our heart, mind, and soul. Part of Deuteronomy 6 is that we're supposed to take the laws, statutes, and commands, and they're supposed to be a valued thing that we wake up to. We go to bed to. We write on our frontlets of our eyes. We put them on our doorposts of our house. We discuss them with our kids. The entire group of wisdom, the entire books of wisdom are the Torah. And to protect our soul, we learn and understand what our Creator wants and how He wants us to act. And then as we go through life and as we see for ourselves things of this nature, we all of a sudden have a little litmus test and goes, whoa, I shouldn't be eating a piece of shrimp, right? Because when I eat shrimp, I'm breaking Leviticus 11. I'm eating unclean food. And it makes our Creator angry that we would injure ourselves in that nature. And the whole thing about clean and unclean food is unclean food will injure a human body. And as much as people call the pig the next white meat or something of the sort, all of these laws, statutes, and commandments are here to protect our hearts, minds, and souls. So when we understand Torah, then we know what Torah is, and that's the beginning of protecting our soul. Okay.
And everybody, Barb and Sylvia will say cling to Yah.
Yeah, cling to Yahuwah, right? Cling to the Creator of the universe. He is an amazing, and I am so glad we are not under the hand of Hasatan, but we have an amazing Creator who loves His inventions. He loves His creation. He loves all of us enough to give us names and to give us freckles and hair and breath and life and a spirit and a soul that we can continue on and choose either Him or we can choose Hasatan. Okay, let us continue. 22. Sorry for the rooftop, guys. Sun's coming out, it looks like. Okay.
Everybody said it's peaceful.
I hope it's peaceful. Okay, the lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Okay, guys, I've talked about this so many times. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Once you see things, you cannot unsee them. Every single time that you turn pornography on or you watch a commercial on TV with skimpy cladded women or men or things that are inappropriate, that are not Kodesh, you are injuring your soul. Every single time if you are a pornography watching person and you are married, you are becoming an adulterer with every act of pornography that you act out. That is the bottom line. Whoever it is that has performed in these pornography things have made an entire world and a whole bunch of adulterers. If we are able to see this, you cannot take one image of pornography and it never goes out of your mind. I will tell you, 25 years after I was a pornography person, I still can see things when I have my eyes closed that I would never ever be able to see if I had not ruined my soul by watching this stuff in my youth. It is one of these things that I say is the most dangerous thing for anybody, for any marriages. Pornography is one of these things that is a marriage wrecker. And it doesn't matter if the wife doesn't know about it, the husband is therefore cheating on his wife with every single moment. If a woman is involved in it, she is cheating as well. You are both becoming adulterers. You don't want to watch movies, guys. You don't want to watch TV. You don't want to watch this evil. Television should not be in your houses. You should not be showing your kids Nickelodeon and Disney and all that satanic madness. It's all satanic, and we can't undo this. It might be the best babysitter you ever had, putting your kid in front of a TV for 4 hours on the end. You can do whatever you want to do, but you've corrupted his heart and you've corrupted his soul, and he will never, ever be the same. And we can raise our kids like this. We can raise our minds like this and have very much evil in our heads, but we can't undo it. And if we are trying to be a Kodesh people, if we're trying to be a holy people, a people that is okay in the eyes of our Creator, then none of this is good. This entire world of nudity is just very, very, very sick. Okay, continuing on. The 22 guys?
You're on 23.
23. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one is able to serve two masters. For either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cling to one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and wealth. That is very, very, very true. It's easier for a man to make it through the eye of the camel, which is actually, it's a little entrance. It's actually a little entrance. Why don't you take him outside, guys? Take him outside. Pull the door open and take him outside. Sorry, guys, we're letting the dogs out real quick. That's 9 pit bulls about to leave. Go, Cade, with them. All right, so where was I going with this, gentleman?
The eye of the camel.
The eye of the camel, right? So the problem with wealth is that if you have it, it's really hard to get rid of it, right? You see the wealthy people, and you know the wealthy people are the people that could absolutely change the world for the positive, but you don't become wealthy being, you know, and that's not always true, because Yah will give you what you can handle as far as wealth goes. But for the ultimate people that are fighting over riches, that's what their world is, right? They're all about money, money, money. It doesn't matter when it is. And you know, as people of Yah, we are supposed to be not worrying about this stuff, because our Creator will absolutely provide for all of us. All right, does anyone actually know where we're at this time?
Yeah, we are.
on 25.
25. Because of this, I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat or drink, or about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than the food, and the body more than the clothing? Look at the birds of the Shemaim, for they neither sow, nor reap, nor gather into storehouses, yet your Father of the Shemaim feeds them. Are you not worth more than they? And this is, you know, this is the great conundrum that we got into, is like, you know, wanting to survive for 50 years off grid in the middle of nowhere, and worrying about our own life, because we made a lot of decisions taking us to this point, to where we are at here. And now that we're here to where we are content off grid, we worried about a tremendous amount of things that we didn't need to worry about. And there was many years of stashing and storing and putting stuff together. And anymore, I don't care if there is a famine. I really don't care. If we have to get a little hungry, we're going to get a little hungry. Our Creator will take care of us. He will take care of you. And, you know, I didn't always think like that. I was that prepper dude. I was always trying to put it down. And prepping isn't a bad thing. But if it consumes your life, and you think that you're going to be the savior of yourself, when our Creator is the one who will ultimately make those decisions, we're worrying about things we don't need to. Okay, continuing on. Here it is. Look at the bird. Where are we at, John?
26.
26. Look at the birds of the Shemaim.
27.
27. All right. 27 says, and which of you by worrying is able to add one pekis to his lifespan? And that's it, right? You're not going to get one iota of life out of it. In fact, they've taken people who are extremely stressed out in life, and their blood pressure is off the roof. It is easy to make ourselves sick by getting in the way of stuff, right? By worrying. And that's what we do as human beings. For some reason, we are a worried group of people, and it doesn't need to be like that. 28. So why do you worry about clothing? Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And I say to you that even Shlomo, in all his esteem, was not dressed like one of these. But if Elohim so clothes the grass of the field, which exists today, and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more you, O you of little belief? Do not worry then, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For all these the Gentiles seek for. And your Father of the Shemaim knows that you need all these. But seek first the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Do not then worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow shall have its own worries. Each day has enough evil of itself. All right, so those are amazing words of our Messiah. It is amazing scriptures that our Creator has given to us in the end of days, to where we have the words of our Messiah, we have this Torah, we have scriptures right before us, and we have a path to the kingdom to come. So, guys, with that, if there's nothing else in the chat, Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. He will lift up his face upon you and give you peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall barak them.
Okay, all right, everybody. We hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Much love to all of y'all.
Let the earth be moved, let the nations may tremble at your presence. Let your fire that you would rend the heavens and come down.
All right, everybody. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the kingdom come soon. May we all find a place in this kingdom to come. May you guys have a wonderful week. We love you all. Shalom.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.